Life comes at you in many different ways, and we learn different things through each day. Check this out. This is another episode of the I'm Not a Hater podcast. Basically, jumping into about things that I've learned throughout this week. First thing I learned is that you cannot live in the past. Living in the past does nothing good for you, okay? First thing it does is it traps you, it keeps you right in that spot. It doesn't let you grow from anything that you've been through. Now, it's important if you go through things to continue to elevate and move on from it. Like I've said before, you can forgive those things that happen. You can move on from those things. You don't have to forget them. You can keep them there. It'll teach you how to move forward in your interaction with people or whatever happened, right? Um, and that's just a thing that you just have to keep in your mind. Like, don't get stuck in the past. That's the number one thing I've learned this week, because the past will trap you. It'll keep you there. People will keep you locked in the past. They'll remember past versions of you and only see you as that person, not the new person that you may have become over time. So always remember that. Move on from the past. Keep moving. Keep going. Um, Listen, it's okay to be selfish about yourself. It's okay to think about you sometimes. Like, there's nothing wrong for being there for other people and helping them out, but sometimes you got to put yourself first. It's not a crime. It's not the end of the world. I used to think the opposite. I used to think that, putting myself first meant that I was neglecting others, but in turn, putting other people first, I was neglecting myself, and never really fully taking care of myself in the correct ways. And it's, been a downfall of mine to a certain extent. Like, you don't feel like, you feel like resting is a crime, or telling a person that you can't really do something for them is a crime, when in actuality, it's okay to say no to certain things because you're tired. You may not feel like it. Like, it's not a crime to not do for people all the time. Sometimes you got to just rest, put yourself first, get yourself some self-care. If that's just sitting on the couch doing absolutely nothing, or watching a show, or whatever the case is nothing wrong with doing that. Like, you don't have to feel like it's the end of the world because you're doing it. It's not a crime. You can do it. um and don't feel guilty about it. Like, whatever those people need, it'll still be there later on, down the line, whatever, what have you. You know, Another thing that I've learned, right, is it's cool to work hard and be rewarded for your work. Now, where this comes in is that everybody, if you've been with the channel for a while, you probably know that I work in the school system. I'm a paraeducator, which means I work with predominantly special needs children. I got awarded for my work. I recently won my school's Para Educator of the Year award. Now, I don't like talking about myself, so this is what I learned. Like, it's okay to humbly brag about yourself, just a little bit, just enough. I don't really like talking about it, but with this one, like, it was kind of special. Just because, it recognized the work that I put in. Um, the dedication, the availability, dependability, getting up day after day and just doing the job to the best, best that you can, and being rewarded for it. And so I don't like talking about it. Obviously, I don't like bragging. Some people do, and that's cool. I'm a little bit different. I keep it to myself. Um, but at this point, like, it's cool to have that happen, have that award happen, and it gives you something to strive for. Can you win it next year? Can you do more? You put that pressure on yourself, not too much, but just enough, because you have worked hard to this point, and it allowed you to be rewarded for it. And if you like me, you trying to keep going to the next thing, but you know, sometimes you got to take that pause and just kind of, exhale, pat yourself on the back, what have you, and just be like, okay, you did this, and then, find a new thing, find the next challenge, and kind of, go for that. And that's pretty much, for the rest of this year, that's what I'm doing, challenging myself to do different things in the work area. And hopefully, it turns out right. Obviously, there's months left in the school year. We'll see what happens. And going into next school year, It'll be more things, but to be awarded for it, which they recognize your hard work, is it's a pretty cool thing. I must say so myself. Um, you know, and the last thing I would say that I learned this week is you know, how do I put it? Well, like I always say, being thankful, right? And I always say like 3 to 5 things, and this week, it was a little different. Again, like I said, I got the message about the award, and I was thankful for, um, in a way, like I was thankful for my mom, right? And again, if you've been with the channel, my mom passed a few years ago. She was an educator as well in the school system, and she's part of the reason why I'm involved with working with kids to this day. And so I was thankful for her because she actually gave me the insight, um, back in, probably was that 2009, 2010. I was, trying to find a job, right? You're out of college, you're trying to find a job, you're trying to, get on your feet. And I was, the story goes that I was selling knives in the suburbs. And I did it for like one day. And then I came home and she was like, I'm gonna get you I'm gonna get you an interview with the public schools. And I'm like, what? And she's like, I'm gonna get you an interview with the public schools. And I'm like, okay, what I'm gonna do? She was like, you don't work with kids. You know how to do it. Let's do it. So, at first it was kind of like reluctant, but I'm glad I took, glad I took the opportunity to do so because, um, you know, it got me to where I am now, and being Mr. Brown and all that good stuff in the classroom and everything. I got to thank her. She saw something I didn't see, and she gambled. She took the shot. You know, she felt like you could do this, and you gonna do it, and this is what it's gonna be. And I took the ball and I ran with it, and gonna forever run with it. I'm probably gonna work with kids for the rest of my days, and probably in many different various roles, but I'm still gonna work with kids. Like, it's a passion. It's a wonderful thing to do. Um, you got to get past, like I always talk about, get past the behaviors and everything else they got going on outside, and just focus on them as kids. There's some wonderful human beings that are growing and learning each day, and I thank my mom for introducing me to that, and where I am today is all due to her at this point, and her not letting me just wallow in self-pity and feeling like this job thing ain't working, and just let me be unemployed. She actually, you know she gave me the tools, she gave me the keys, and I had to figure out my way through it. But once I figured it out, I was off on my own, off and going, or off and running, as they say, and made my own mark. So much respect to her. Obviously, everybody else who has been along in that journey as well. Thankful for them as well. Thankful for family and friends and everybody that's giving positive words and stuff like that. Um, I'm just extremely humbled and extremely thankful for everybody. And with that being said, man, it's not entitled to be a long episode. It's just something that I wanted to just talk about. Some things that I've learned over the weeks and months, and and just kind of give it to you guys in a non-formal way, so that everybody, you may learn something from this. You may take something and do something special with it. Listen, it is what it is. I'm always here. I'm always posting. You'll see me on your algorithm somewhere soon. Listen, if you like it, subscribe, comment, like the video. I'll talk to you very, very soon. Peace and love. It's always I'm Not a Hater podcast. This is Mr. Brown. I'm out.